Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Futon Talks. Yes. No more of that Futon first crap. Ugh, get out of here.
Gross.
We're back. We're going back to our roots here. Back for blood, indeed.
Or bolts. Or bolts, as it were.
Oh, hello. I am your host, Christopher Midling, joined as always by my furry companion, Josh
do not
Castro.
like that. I do not like that. They're going to rule 30 for the two of us now, Chris. I don't like that at all. But that is my name. I am Josh Castro, the furry companion, as it were. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to be here.
Would you rather be a furry or a robot? So
a robot.
A robot? Okay.
Would you rather be a furry?
I mean, would you rather be called
Chris, this is supposed to be
furry,
this is supposed to be a family-friendly podcast. What are you
robotic?
Robotic. I'm robotic. You can be Ratchet. You've got more hair. Your hair's longer. You got more hair on your face. You're more like a Lombax. You look like Ratchet.
Yep.
With your little lion tail and whatnot.
And if you haven't noticed yet, by clicking on the thumbnail or listening to us speak, we just got done playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Ooh, that's right.
Before we get into that, how are you doing, Josh?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing okay. I was supposed to do plasma at 11:15 this morning, and I slept through it because I was up all night and could not awake. So,
yes.
It's okay.
So, yes.
It's an okay day. I have an exam to take later today.
Okay.
It's a long
Very
day.
Nice.
Yeah, it's okay.
Good for you, buddy.
How was your day, man? You have a good day so far?
My day's been pretty good. I am now the proud owner of every Yakuza game.
Look at you. You bought all of them?
So I have to play
Like
them.
a Dragon.
I bought Like a Dragon. I went into GameStop yesterday. I saw Judgment for $30. I picked it up. And then I was like, I might as well get all of them.
I've already got
Why
two.
would I start the last two?
The other 6. How much did it cost you?
Oh.
For all of them?
I think I might need to get 6 still.
You fool.
I'll have to take a look. So how much was all of them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was 60 for Like a Dragon and Judgment together. And then it was probably like another 60 for 0, 1, and 2. Mm-hmm. Another 40 for the 3, 4, and 5. So I'm just missing 6, which I can get at another date.
I might be wrong. There might not be a 6th one.
There is. It's called Song of Life.
Oh, JK.
I think I was waiting to get that one because I found a version that comes with like special dice and like nice glassware. With like intricate
that's kind of cool.
Fish on it. It looked really nice.
I love fish on my glassware.
Me too.
That's kind of cool though. Apparently you are a diehard Yakuza fan now. You don't have a choice.
I didn't even know it.
I feel like a Dragon's by far the one I would want to play most. But
yeah, and it's kind of cool because I think from here on out the Yakuzas are going to be turn-based.
Really?
And then Judgment is going to be the action games.
Oh, interesting.
Which is really cool.
That's cool. I'm glad for them. They're switching it up. I mean, when you're 7 or 8 games into a series, you probably switch it up every once in a while. So
yeah, maybe.
That's very exciting.
But if you guys haven't listened to Futon Talks, maybe this is your first episode. You should go back and listen to our episode on remaking Resident Evil 4 for Capcom.
You should.
They still haven't shown it off yet or announced it, so.
Well, that's because they have to redo everything because they saw our video, man.
Well, exactly. They have to take copious amounts of notes, and I mean, they've seen my video, so they have to design Leon to how I look now.
That's
with
true
a mustache.
As well. The mustache and the red hair.
Yeah.
It'll be much better.
At this point, you guys can go listen to Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition. Great episode. And you can listen to Tenet, another fantastic episode. And yeah.
And you can listen to all of our coverage of Games Week. It was wild. Yeah. We did like
wild.
5 episodes on it. It was fun. It was a good challenge for us. It was Hell Week. It was interesting, man. You guys would like it because I know all 2 of you. So
it was different. It was a good test.
It was a good departure. It was
and
fun.
Plus, without E3, we wouldn't be doing video right now.
Yes,
because it allowed us to try new things.
That's true. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because video. Yeah. That's where we tested it out.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm very happy with this.
Me too.
But tell me how you feel about this game, by the way. Because this game is a game, interestingly enough, not at E3, because Sony doesn't do E3, but I still think this game is dominating the conversation. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Seems a big deal.
As it should.
As it should.
I have 3 words for you. But do you have 3 words for me?
I'll come up with them after you. I've got one word. I've got one.
I have a word for you too. I'm going to start with dense. And then fascinating. And then detail.
Interesting. Those are great words.
I didn't want to go for fun because obviously it's going to be fun. It's a Ratchet and Clank game.
Stupid.
I'm not an idiot.
You're not an idiot. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad that my co-host isn't challenged in that way.
Not in that way.
Not in that way. Would you like to hear my words?
I would love to.
All right, one's hyphenated, so we might lose some followers here. I'll start with the good ones. First one might be oversaid, but Pixar. It feels like you're playing a Pixar movie. It's insane. The next one after Pixar would be video game, like hyphenated, because this is like
okay, I see what you're saying.
Video game incarnate. It is a video game. And the last one is Lazarus. That's right. How long has it been since the last real Ratchet and Clank game? I mean, we had 2016s, right?
No, because that's not like.
That's what I'm saying. Like that one doesn't count because it's kind of a reboot.
2014? No, not 2014. Like 2011.
It's been about a decade. Nexus. So it's been a long time since a real Ratchet and Clank game. They even talk about that in the game. And I think not just a revival of Ratchet and Clank, but a revival of, the mascot platformer / shooter. Totally something that's gone pretty much entirely.
It's the reincarnation of fun.
Yeah, it's the fun video game, which is like, why do we have to say that? But it's just a happy, fun video game that's like feel good and it's interesting. So those are my 3 words: Lazarus, video game, and Pixar.
Those are beautiful words.
Thank you, brother. No, 0 notes. Should I explain my situation with the game?
I guess we both can.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the podcast where we take a look back at things we missed and try to find something new. We didn't miss this game. It came out like a week ago, and we got it on like day 1. Apparently, we just don't abide by our own rules. But you guys might be missing it because you can't buy a PS5 because there's none left. And by the way, spoilers.
The crap out of it.
There are going to be lots of spoilers in this. We don't play with that unspoilered crap. But I got it day 1. Chris, you did too. And my situation was that I played the first 2 hours, and then we had Games Week. And so I just, I was really busy editing video and editing pictures, and just a busy week in general. So I didn't play the game again until last night. And then I played the last 10 hours, up until 4 a.m. So if I'm a little misty, as it were, that is why. I didn't have time to take any notes, but I remember quite clearly, and I want to just kind of go off my feelings. But that's where I'm at with the game.
I like that. On the other hand, I'd probably get through a planet every other day in between sleep and work and games week, of course. So I was steadily taking notes for the first 4 planets, and then the last 2 days I really just bunkered down and got it done.
Yeah.
The curse is broken, everybody. This was my 105th platinum.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah. I feel pretty good.
Maybe
Not gonna lie.
God was saving this for you. He didn't want you to get the Mass Effect
I think
Platinum.
so. It's like Returnal didn't deserve it, and Resident Evil didn't deserve it. Ratchet deserves it, and it really does.
That's adorable. I'm gonna go back.
That
and
being
get it. I'm
said,
pretty
I
close.
have downloaded Returnal again this morning.
Stop it!
I
What are you
will
doing?
I will get that platinum.
I heard they made it way easier.
Exactly. That's why I did it.
Can I say something else?
Yeah, sure.
Of all the games that this game felt similar to, the game that easily felt the most similar to it was Returnal.
Yeah.
What is the deal? Like,
I don't remember there ever being like a dodge mechanic like there is in this game.
in
And I
Ratchet
feel
and Clank,
like
you mean?
adding that dash was, I mean, it was pretty crucial to the combat in the game.
Mm.
And plus, just like a lot of the weapons, I would agree. It felt a lot like Returnal.
It even has a grapple that you use L1 to do. You know what I mean? It's like the same. It's pretty wild. Like, I would have flashbacks to Returnal. It's like a kid's version
They even
of
look
Returnal.
the same.
I know. It's really interesting. I was like, it's like Returnal. And some of the guns were the same. Like the Dreadnought is kind of similar to the Ricochet. And just interesting. Interesting similarities. Granted, they are third-person action shooters, so like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But
What are you
like,
gonna
wow, they were similar.
I agree.
I thought that was
like
a funny thing. So if you like the way Returnal plays, you'll like Ratchet and Clank. Well, Ratchet and Clank is less satisfying, I think, in the combat department.
Yeah, I didn't
But
mess
that's
around
only
with the
'cause-
challenge mode.
Excuse me. I always interrupt
Oh no,
you.
sorry. No, it's fine. Please.
I was gonna say the only reason, like, this game is satisfying. It's just Returnal has some of the best combat I've ever played in any game. You know, so it's not like a slight on Ratchet and Clank. It's just that Returnal is like almost untouchable when it comes to third-person shooting. It just is. That is not the problem with Returnal. Like, the problem with Returnal is not the combat. But anyway, sorry.
No, I like that. That's a perfect little thing you saw there.
What can I say?
Perfect little nugget you dug up there.
I just dig the nuggets out of the ground and give them right to you guys. That's why you come to Futon Talks.
Before we get into, I want to start with the characters, I think, then the planets, weapons, and then go from there, fast ones. But before that, I just gotta say, Insomniac, man.
They did great.
PlayStation's ace in the hole.
Oof.
Where are they? Obviously, they don't sleep, but
I know. It's like, what are they doing?
they just make games.
That's all they do. They live and breathe
crazy.
perfect games.
Like, okay, so they did. Let's just start with 2016. I don't need to do their whole history here, but they did 2016's Ratchet and Clank. They did Spider-Man, and then, or they did Sunset Overdrive in between those two, I think. Spider-Man, and then
Miles.
what? Miles Morales, and then this.
More Spider-Man, and then this.
And now there's rumors of another Spider-Man going to be announced soon. There's been talks of
I love Spider-Man.
of Resistance trilogy remake coming out soon,
We'll see.
and maybe some more stuff. There's some surprising things in this game that
Yeah.
could be playing to other things.
Right? We got Knack. We got Sly Cooper. I think we have Jack
Yeah.
and Daxter.
Yeah, so
Pretty
it's
cool.
pretty cool. But before we get into that, Josh, hold your horses there.
Sorry.
Hold your horses there, Rhino.
They're held.
Let's start with maybe just an overall, like, how you feel about this game. Obviously, we both like it, but like, tell me your thoughts.
That's a good question, especially because I think you and I have really different backgrounds with this. For example, Mass Effect. I love the Mass Effect series. I've played 2 of them. I don't know. I haven't played the 3rd one, but I love the games, you know?
Yeah.
But this is a series that I know nothing about. I have never played a Ratchet and Clank game. I think I played Ratchet and Clank 2016 for an hour and I got bored and I didn't want to play it anymore. So my background with Ratchet and Clank is that I have no background with Ratchet and Clank. And I think that most people who play this will be returning fans, right? But man, despite that, this game blew me out of the water. It was just way better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't even really want to do an episode on it, you know? I considered saying like, let's not do it, or like, let's postpone it. But I'm really glad we did it because, man, this game just really blindsided me with how good it was. I didn't expect it to be so good. So that's my answer to that question.
I totally agree. That's a perfect answer. I know we have one listener who is a Ratchet and Clank fanatic.
Yes, he is.
Just about. And he has played every game. He hasn't played this one. He doesn't have a PS5 yet. But like he wanted to come and sleep at my house to play it. But I couldn't let that happen. But this game is wild. My first Ratchet and Clank was a Crack in Time, and then I played Into the Nexus 2016 and now Rift Apart. So my history isn't super deep because there's like 16 games.
What?
It's like a crazy amount. There's a ton.
I had no idea. I thought this was like the fourth.
No, it starts like Ratchet and Clank 1 through 3, and then you get into the PSP games, and then you get into the PS3 games, and there's a bunch of them, like All for One or whatever it is. And then you get into the Ratchet and Clank Future games, which is Crack in Time and Into the Nexus and Quest for Booty. So there's a ton. There's a lot. And yes, they all have innuendos in their names.
Apparently. Wow. That's wild. I had no clue.
Yeah. No,
what a pedigree.
They crank these out pretty fast.
Until 2014.
Until they don't.
Until 2011 or whatever.
Well, until they're given a Spider-Man.
Yes. Wow, interesting. I had no clue. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to go back. I know Jarrett has gone back to play them all in order. But he had work, so he couldn't finish them all before this. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
It makes me want to go back and play the others.
I kind of do.
I think it'd be hard, but I do. This is the thing.
Really hard.
I could tell there were a bunch of references and characters from the past games, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. Yeah. You know?
Exactly. But they kind of do a really nice way of, like, let's take Quark, for example. Ratchet lets you know, by talking to Quantum, I think, saying that Quark used to be my enemy. Because I think he was one of the first villains in the games.
Really?
I could be wrong. But I feel like he was one of the first villains. Or he always betrays you.
I thought he was just like a coward. Yeah. But remember, like the Space Force or whatever?
So, I think they did a nice way of kind of easing you into it and being like, you don't have to be this long-time fan. You can just come in just like you, really, and just play it and have a really good time. And the game just lets you know that there is more that you could go back to without making you feel like you shouldn't play this one.
Yes.
You know. But no, this game is pound for pound the most beautiful game I've played.
That's interesting. I've heard that a lot.
And that's where the dents and the detail come in. Because the planets that you go to feel so full and lived in. And it's crazy. Like, there's a couple planets like, was it Savali?
Savali.
The one with the archives roaming around. Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. And even just Nefarious City is...
They're all gorgeous.
So cramped. Even though it's so small, really. Like, you're just seeing a small window into these planets. It's just crazy. And I played on performance ray tracing mode. I think you did too.
I play it on just performance. That's
Okay.
because I just love those frames. I can't help it.
Well, the frames don't go down.
That's what I heard. But honestly, this is a secret. Whenever
Yeah.
performance ray tracing is on, I've never noticed any difference outside of Miles Morales. Like, and I always
Really?
try them. I can never tell because there's a form of ray tracing in the performance mode. It's just like muddy, but I think it looks too muddy in performance ray tracing to notice anyway. But that might have just been what I was looking at. Like I could have been looking at the wrong reflective surface.
For sure. When I was playing it, it was perfect. Perfect. But yeah, I guess let's start with talking about Ratchet.
Yes.
You could see every single like individual fur,
That's right. It's wild.
every follicle.
It's like he's an actual animal on your screen.
I know.
It's wild.
I feel like this game looks better than 80% of animated film,
Yeah. It really does
if not
feel
90%.
like you're playing like a really nice movie. Like it's hard to describe. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Like my favorite vista in the game was when you first get to Blizzard Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And you hit the first crystal and it goes to where everything was back to normal.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It's crazy.
It's crazy what they're able to do with this new hardware.
Yeah, let's talk really quickly about this as a PS5 game.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, sure. That's perfect.
Like I know that people have been saying it over and over and over that it's like the load times are incredible, but the load times are incredible. And like
Yeah.
you like get out of your ship and it looks like a cutscene and you just it's the game. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like magic. It's just like the game never stops. It's like you get into the cockpit. It's like a seamless animation. You don't even have to be in a particular place. You just press X somewhere near the ship and you're jumping in, and then like the camera pans and you're having a conversation. It pans back around and you're landing on a planet and you get out and it looks like a screenshot, but you just walk. It's crazy.
I love that. The game never stops. It's so true. And I thought Spider-Man's load times were fast, but
Nothing like
it
this.
takes like 3 or 4 seconds to get into the game. Like from the home menu, hit X on the icon, hit start, and then you're in the game.
And did
It's
you ever
insane.
use those purple teleporters to go back to the ship?
Yes.
It is literally instantaneous.
It's a split second.
Like it's
You will blink and you
wild.
will be at your ship.
It's crazy. Because this is the thing, like Returnals were just a tad long enough to be like, it's still incredible and fast, but it's like, should I pull my phone out? Oh, it's over, you know? But you don't have
Yeah.
that chance in Ratchet and Clank.
No, you don't
press
get
that
to
button,
think
you're
about
there. Like, it's crazy. I can't even describe it.
I am baffled by people saying that this could run on a PS4.
No, this game could not run on a PS4.
It's like maybe
if you
it
played
could
it couldn't.
at 15 frames.
Yeah.
This game, you would have so many loading screens. It would be insane. It would be awful. I feel like people need to stop looking at the games that run on PS5 as like, could this visually be on a PS4? Could the frames be just cut down a little bit to fit it on a PS4? But you're missing the entire experience of this game if you put it anywhere else.
I agree. I think that especially like narratively, the fast load times like have a significance, you know?
Yeah.
And like beyond, like I think it would kind of ruin part of the immersion if there were a bunch of loading screens. And as well, I am not sure that graphically it could run on a PS4 and maintain the fidelity and just
No, it would be 1080 something and you would have it at 30 frames.
yeah, it's just I don't know. This game is when it's in motion, it's different. Like when it's in motion and you can feel it and you're controlling it, it's a different experience from watching it on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with
Oh.
Returnal. Like, Returnal needed to be a PS5 exclusive. I don't think it could have been the same experience on a PS4.
I agree.
And same thing with Ratchet.
I totally agree. And dude, when we first saw this game at the PS5 event back almost a year ago now,
That's crazy.
they showed off tethering and pulling the dimensions, which was really cool. And like, but at the time I was like, that could just be like some little tricks, visual tricks and stuff. It feels weird doing it like on your screen. Like, you are pulling the world to you. Ratchet is stagnant. He doesn't move, but you're pulling the planet closer to you.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not like a grapple hook.
No, it's so trippy. It's so weird. It does not feel right. Like, you'll get used to it, but it feels weird, man.
It feels appropriately different to be pulling a dimension towards you, right? It's interesting. Like,
and just how you'll find little portals around the world or little cracks in the dimension, and you can just open up a new planet or place. It's bizarre how they do that.
Mm-hmm. It's
because I'm trying to look at like in between the dimensions, moving the camera around. It's like, is this just like a wall or something?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's another level.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
It's wild.
It's so fast. You just you pull it and you just walk into it and you're in a new place.
It's crazy. And it's another word for this game would be seamless. The entire experience is one great whole. You know what I mean?
I would add roller coaster.
Ooh, heck yeah.
This game is just a roller coaster sometimes.
There are some... You're going to hate this. There are some moments as memorable as, like, the opening to Uncharted 2. Like, moments that are cinematic or, like, when you're in the plane in Uncharted 3 and, like, that whole cinematic experience. There are moments like that where it's just like, whoa, like I am playing a movie,
Yeah, your mouth is agape and you just like at awe at what you're watching.
Exactly. And that's a pretty big accomplishment. I was pretty impressed with that. So I guess, do we want to talk about those moments or do we want to go into characters? I'm fine with either.
I guess let's just go into those moments.
Let it take us.
Maybe the characters just speak for themselves. Well, because like, if you've played Ratchet and Clank, you know who they are. Maybe we can talk about Rivet and Kit.
Yeah. And overall, it's a Pixar movie. This isn't like, Scorsese's next.
Yeah, this isn't The Last of Us Part 2, and we're going deep into like Ellie's like psychosis. Yeah.
I mean, these are like, they're nice furry animal characters that are friends. Like they're not that deep or anything. They're cool though.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go into those moments that you were talking about.
I can start with one that's on rails, literally. That's pretty incredible. And it's the part when the Fixer wakes up. When you go to Terran 4.
Yes.
It's like games can do this, And it's like, part of me is like, obviously games can do this. Games have been doing stuff like this forever. But it just feels so great. When you go through his hand as it like slowly closes. And then I love that Rivet apparently has the strength of freaking 1,000 suns. She's like, stopping his hand.
Arm, man.
Apparently. But just that whole sequence where you're grinding on the rails, getting away from the Fixer, everything's falling apart around you, everything's exploding, and he's showing up. It literally feels like a roller coaster. Like you're at Disneyland and you're on a ride, but it's more real than Disneyland. Like it's more realistic than real life.
Yeah.
So that's the first moment that really sticks out to me as like, wow.
No, I love that. Very nice. Very well put.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. No, that was playing through that scene with the Fixer. Through my head, it was just this is a roller coaster. Like, this feels like I feel like I'm at Universal right now.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It's so good. One of the ones that I like to bring up is the Blizzard Prime. When you're on those rails and you hit the crystals and you have to hit them to change the dimension so that you can get through the rest of the map.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good and really sad.
Yeah.
Blizzard Prime is probably my favorite.
Interesting.
It's between that and Savali.
That's interesting because Blizzard is not my favorite. It's one of my less favorite levels, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's just so sad. Like, you get to this planet and it's destroyed by Nefarious. He's mined it and then he just exploded it pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone there is dead except one person.
Yeah. It's
And
really
then
sad.
you hit the dimensions and you see what it was before, and it's this like buzzing and populated mining
Mm-hmm.
factory basically, and it looks so beautiful. And just how fast you can switch between levels. Like, it's a new level. It's not the same.
Oh, they're totally different. Yeah.
It blows my mind.
It's pretty insane. Like, again, it's one of those things that watching it on YouTube does not.
No, it doesn't
It's
do
not the
justice.
same as like hitting the crystal yourself, and like a half second later, you are in a new level, totally different, new enemies, different characters, different layout.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
It is. But yeah.
I love that. Great moment. Can I tell you one of my other moments?
Yeah.
This one is a created moment. Not an on rails one. When you're at Savali and you get your rocket boots.
Oh, dude, how epic was that?
Oh my gosh.
How epic was that?
There's almost nothing cooler in any video game than those rocket boots. They are a game changer.
They really are.
They feel so good. This is the only thing. The only thing I wish, and I get why they didn't do this, but I wish you could like either continue getting boosts or like have your boost go away after a little bit, so you have to keep pressing the left trigger to like.
I would have liked that too.
I don't know why, but I think it just would have been cool, or like have him like do tricks as you keep doing it.
I think because
Which
you
he does,
feel
but-
like you're losing momentum, being stagnant. Like,
Yeah,
once you've reached the peak, you feel like you're slowing down for some reason.
I know. That was.
You just want to go faster.
I just want to go fast, which is funny. I think that's a trophy or whatever.
Yeah, it is.
But I just love the way it feels. The only thing I would want is just to keep feeling it. So
Yeah.
it feels so good when you get those boots and you start swish, 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 like you're freaking Apollo
Like your
Ono.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Like your Shadow the Hedgehog. I hope they start playing freaking Sonic, whatever the one is called. What's it called? The one where he's the beast? Where the werehog? What's Sonic Unleashed?
Unleashed, yeah.
I was like, I really wish I heard the symphonic orchestra playing Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, wow.
Mm.
And like
Wow,
cruising and
indeed.
seeing all of Savali from up in the air.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that. It is very cool. It's a good moment to pull. I think since we're kind of doing it already, let's just go back to the first planet and talk about that and just go in order. There's only 9 of them.
I love it.
And that'll be a good way for us to go through these big moments and maybe jog our memories. Because I just finished it last night with you. Well, not with you, just while you were doing
Alongside
it also.
me in spirit.
So I need a little refresher.
Mm.
Let's start with do you want to start with Megalopolis or just go into Coruscant 5?
Oh, we can talk about Megalopolis really
Okay.
quickly. No, I don't know why I didn't love Megalopolis, but I think it's just because I don't know Ratchet and Clank.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool though, very cool, but nothing compared to later planets.
We've seen it a lot. That's the thing. It's the staple like Ratchet and Clank level that you're gonna see. I feel like, at least I've seen it a lot. And I think I've seen more interesting parts because it was really kind of just a refresher about what Ratchet and Clank have done.
Yeah.
with the blimps and stuff, and Quark is doing all this, and Clank is giving Ratchet the Dimensionator so that he can go find the Lombaxes, which Ratchet is hesitant to now because he feels like he's not good enough for them, or they just won't like him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to disappoint them. Plus, he doesn't want to risk his life that he has right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting, like, it's kind of a mature.
Yeah, it's really deep.
Yeah, like thinking about it, it's like, dang, Ratchet, like I understand, and especially like the people not wanting to lose what they have because like taking a new step might ruin where you're at. You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting.
That could have like risk reward and stuff. But yeah, it was really interesting, really mature, very humanizing for a Lombax.
For a non-human. Yes. There are no humans in this universe, which I thought was really interesting. Well, I guess Quark is technically a human.
I guess. I never thought of it that way.
Is he the only one? Because everyone else is like a robot or a monstrosity. It's an awful looking creature.
No, you're right.
It's fine. It's interesting.
But Ratchet and Clank get attacked again by Nefarious. Dr. Nefarious.
Doctor. It's
important. And Dr. Nefarious gets the Dimensionator and ruins everything.
Jerk.
Anything else you want to say about Megapolis?
Just that it's a great backdrop, right? To have everything change in. I don't think they needed to do anything to be like, oh, we need to love the world of Ratchet and Clank, so we need to, so that it hurts when it's gone. Like, it's fine. It's Ratchet's world. We don't need a whole lot. Yeah. They handled it pretty well. It's a good place for a tutorial.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
But then we get into Coursing 5. Ratchet has lost Clank, and Clank has been captured by a new Lombax named Rivet.
Whoa.
Who is a girl.
She is a girl.
Which, if you've played other Ratchet and Clank games, you might know that girl Lombaxes don't have tails.
What?
Yeah.
Is this a goof?
Ratchet meets a female Lombax in previous games, and she doesn't have a tail. Like, because they just don't have tails.
You sure she didn't just lose her tail?
I am sure. I made sure to talk to Matt, our Ratchet and Clank super fan.
Wow.
And he said they don't have tails. Could just be a dimension thing.
I was say maybe it's a dimension thing.
So
funky.
It is weird. I don't think they've brought it up since, and Ratchet doesn't make note of it when he sees her. So maybe they just forgot about it.
Maybe they're just like, we don't want to deal with that. Like, she looks way better with a tail. Maybe they're like,
that's a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like, why would they not have tails?
I feel like having a tail is kind of an important marker for one of these creatures. Although her tail is very different from Ratchet's tail.
This is true.
It's like a... Whereas his is like a little lion tail.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
Interesting.
But yeah, Rivet.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about Rivet really quickly since she's introduced here.
Really cool.
I like Rivet.
I love Rivet.
I think it's significant that I wasn't just left being like, oh, I want to play as Ratchet, you know?
No, I wanted to play as Rivet more.
I think I liked Rivet a little bit more too. I like them both a lot.
No, yeah, they're both great for their own reasons. Ratchet's voice acting is immaculate.
Superb.
Like, he could be the voice of Spider-Man. He could actually be the voice of Spider-Man, and I don't know it.
He really could be. Let me look up these actors.
Yeah, do that. Rivet, I love that arm. Her robot arm. It just adds so much character, and it has meaning for the story, which is really cool too.
Which
I wonder if it being yellow has any significance for Rivet.
I don't know.
That would be interesting.
I mean, it matches Kit.
Exactly. Spoilers.
Oh, whoops.
But no, I love Rivet's design, and she is one of those characters that has problems and flaws. Where Ratchet, like, he does have flaws, but he's nearly a perfect being, right?
Yeah.
But
He's
Rivet
the best.
has a fear or hate for robots almost because of what happened to her.
Uh-huh.
And it's just interesting.
It's a really interesting dichotomy, right? Because Ratchet is like best friends with a robot, and she has a vendetta against them. And they're in a dimension where robots are pretty much evil most of the time.
Slaves,
right?
yeah. And by the way, I don't know if the game makes it clear enough, but they are the same person in different dimensions. They are not two separate bodies, right?
Well, I mean, they're two separate bodies, but they're two different versions of the same person,
Of the same person.
which is weird.
So no romance, right? That would be weird.
I don't think it'd be that weird.
Like if I found myself as a girl in another dimension and I married her or something, that wouldn't be weird.
I think the thing is this: they're effectively totally different people, and they don't have the same
I guess this
DNA.
is true.
So, like, technically they're the same person, but like, Kit and Clank aren't anything alike. You know what I mean? But they're technically the same person too.
Yes.
I don't know. I expected a romance. I would have been happy with a romance. It kind of sounds bad, but it's kind of like if they can't find those other Lombaxes, it's kind of their responsibility. You know, like there's no more Lombaxes. Like you got to preserve your species.
Yeah. Let's keep it PG here.
Keep it PG. I'm sorry. We got to get this furry stuff out of here. But I found the actor is James Arnold Taylor for Ratchet.
Okay.
He was Ratchet in 2016. And interestingly enough, he's also Milo from Atlantis, which we've been talking about several times recently.
Oh, hey.
I know. He's way older than I anticipated. This dude's like 50. But
Yeah.
and then the other one is Jennifer Hale, who's a pretty famous voice actress.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look. I think she was Femship.
Oh, really?
I
think
could be
you're-
very
I
wrong.
think you're right.
but
I could
let
see
me
that.
look. She's in Mortal Kombat. The frick, all these random cartoons. Man, maybe I'm wrong. What's going on? It doesn't credit her for Ratchet and Clank at the top. Jennifer Hale.
Dude, do you ever look
Video.
up like actors in a movie and then you get to the bottom of the list and they just start throwing random famous actors who aren't in it at all?
Yep.
I think I looked up the actors for it was either The Conjuring 3 or maybe Tenet. I got to the bottom of the list and it was like Jack Nicholson, Morgan Freeman, Christian Bale.
They're all in there, Chris. They're all related. Oh, wow. Yeah. She is in Baldur's Gate, Mass Effect, Metal Gear. Apparently, Ratchet and Clank now is Rivet. She's old, too. I guess voice actors can just sound young.
Yeah, I guess so.
But wild.
Beautiful voice acting
Perfect.
across the board. Perfect.
Very much agree.
But back to our course in 5.
Yes.
Nefarious City. That was what a fantastic locale. It was dark, dingy, dirty, and kind of full of life.
Oh, yeah.
You start in this big marketplace where you find your first Miss Zerkies.
Mm-hmm.
Or not your first, I guess. The first one's in the Megalopolis, but the first one in the wild.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. You got I love the Nefarious Club. Some good tunes in there.
Just sit there listening to them. Club Nefarious.
Yeah. I think it was a perfect starting planet.
Yeah.
Like it was like a perfect way to open up and to show you what this dimension is all about.
Yeah.
Because now we learn that there's an Emperor Nefarious who we don't meet till later on.
Yeah.
Way later on.
He's
Which
gone
I think
for the
is
majority
kind
of the
of-
game.
I think is a cool thing.
Me too.
Because you're dealing with Dr. Nefarious for a while, and then you meet Emperor Nefarious, and he is way more nefarious.
He's a buff boy version. He's
he's Gordon
like,
Ramsay.
He's
like
Giga
Gordon
Chad
Ramsay
Nefarious.
I love the dialogue between the goons for sale or goons for less.
Yeah.
They have the funniest lines. Like, yeah, we're looking for this Lombax. We can't find it, but could we get like a vacation day or something? I love them.
They're very funny. All the enemies have great voice lines.
I agree.
And I
What do
love
you have
when
anything
you're...
to say about this planet?
Oh, again, it's really the same as Megalopolis. To me, it's like, these are my two least favorite levels in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I love everything that comes after so much, right?
I agree. I totally agree.
It's good,
Not
though.
to say that they're bad. Yeah.
Gorgeous, beautiful. But it's like, these are the ones where you don't have all the weapons, you don't have all the abilities. And for me, the game really opens up after you have your entire arsenal.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
And you
chef's kiss.
perfect. And then you don't have that scale that you get with other planets.
Yeah. So it's cool, though. It's cool. And the world building's great. You know, love the nefarious stuff everywhere. I love all the stuff that he says, like, over the intercom.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. So I think it's a cool area.
Yeah. And it reminds me of, like, the underground cities, or, like, in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Where she's, like, getting the plans ready or whatever. It reminded me of that. And I thought it was really cool.
I agree.
But then after the course in 5, we get to play as Rivet for the first time on Sargasso.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this one?
Sargasso is a troubling place.
Yes.
Like, the Speedles are interesting in concept, but they become very annoying. Because the thing is this, Sargasso is a really pretty planet, but it's all islands. And in between these islands is acid. Like lakes of acid that you can't walk in.
Yes.
And the only way to get across them is by getting on these beetles or snails that go really quickly. And you can boost around with them and stuff. And they're cool, but not my favorite place. I like fighting Gunthors. I like the aesthetic. I think the Morts are pretty funny because they're just like these little Canadian people.
Yeah.
Or Minnesotans
Oh,
almost. Oh, don't you know? Where to go to Geeter? They're pretty funny. But also Trudy's here. And the whole thing with Zerpstones, which are like these flowers that you get for the dragon to eat because it's pregnant. It's hard to explain. But that whole section is really frustrating if you don't know what to do.
Yes.
And
it's frustrating when you do know what to do.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Another one of the planets, which is not my favorite. It's like, once you get past this planet, that it gets amazing.
I feel like this is... I don't know if this is a fast one for you at all. Like, talking about, like, least favorite planets and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I'll have to think about it more, but this might be my least favorite planet. I think it's... Sorry.
No, you keep going.
I feel like it's a little long in the tooth. And the flying reminds me in a bad way of old PS3 games or PS2 games.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a charm to it also. But yeah, finding those flowers or whatever was really easy up until you can't find one out of 60 on this huge map.
Yeah.
I had to turn on the settings where it's black and white, and I have the collectibles highlighted as green to find this last one. And it was way out of left field, like at the top of something that was at the edge of the map.
Was it not marked on your map?
They're not marked on your map.
They are. And you can pin them.
They are?
Yeah.
The flowers? You can mark?
You fool. And then they're just like...
maybe it's because I didn't have any trouble until this last one.
Huh.
So I, like, probably when I looked at my map, it was probably just one thing that I didn't notice.
Yeah, you just assumed that they should be not impossible to find.
Yeah.
Understandable.
But it was cool that they did the same thing with The Last of Us Part 2, where if you have to look for the collectibles, you can turn on black and white and then highlight all the collectibles.
That's pretty cool.
So good for them. There's a lot of accessibility options in this game.
Thank you, Ratchet.
And
Clank.
PlayStation's been doing a really good job about that.
They have.
Some, like, I don't understand the science behind it, whatever, but, like, blind people can play these games.
It's insane. I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how that works. But good on them. Like, they figured it out.
Good for them. I'm very proud.
Geniuses over there.
Apparently.
Can they cure cancer next?
I mean, people with cancer can play Ratchet and Clank. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
But
yeah, I'm not enough about Sargasso.
No, but quickly,
I think the boss, oh, sorry.
I think this is the first planet that is a real planet.
Yeah, this is true, yes.
Does that make sense? This is the first of the actual planets. The previous two, right?
There's like 3 of them that are just like locations on a planet.
Yeah, that are very small. But there's like 4 or 5 that are big areas, and this is the first one that I would consider a true planet. And it's my least favorite as well.
Yeah.
I do annoying.
I love Rivet's hideout.
It's cool.
I thought that was really cool. And then I also love the boss.
Oh, the Secrepede?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. That with the Gunthors there are some really fun combat. I mean, the combat in this game is immaculate, but there are some really fun moments and arenas in this game.
Yes.
But then we go to Xerxes for the first time. And let's just cover Xerxes right now. The best arena in any game.
Yes.
Like, the most fun, doesn't take too long, and you get some pretty cool rewards, and I love the light exploration that's on this map.
It's cute.
Yeah. I forgot the gravity boots or whatever were a thing.
Yeah.
But like, did you get the gold bolt that's underneath Xerxes?
Yeah, but let me tell you how I got it.
Okay.
So I saw it on my map because I was just always checking my map to see like raritanium and stuff. Anyways,
yeah.
I saw the bolt, so I highlighted it, saw it was underneath, and then I just hovered down into it, dashed into it, and fell to my death. So I didn't get it the way I was supposed to.
Good for you, man. Ingenuity.
That's what I do. There were a bunch of bolts I got that way. Like, there's a way you're obviously supposed to do it, and I would just throw myself at it, like, from across the screen. And, like, I would often die during the animation of getting the bolt. It's pretty funny. Like, you'd hear it playing out as she fell to her death. Oh, nice one. It's so shiny.
Dude, some of the dying sounds, like when they're drowning, pretty horrific.
I got jump scared like, real good on the pirate planet when the thing came out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
Because it like lets you swim for a little while, and then it's like, no, you're dead.
It reminds me of Spore.
Horrific.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the little bar in Xerxes. Mm-hmm. You can dance.
Oh, you can dance.
You can dance, yeah.
Dude, I need to replay Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah, you do. I thought it was cool. Nice little hub where all the characters, whether they're villains or not, were hanging out.
It's very cute.
Yeah, it was very cute.
I love
and
Pierre.
then Xerxes. Who?
Pierre.
Oh, Pierre.
Is he a character in the other games? He must be.
He is. I forgot his other dimension's name, but yeah, he is another character from the games.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that guy. Yeah, he's like one of my favorites.
He was great. But yeah, I think we can probably go away from Xerxes. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, cool planet.
No,
I agree.
Cool. Cool bosses.
Mm-hmm. More Secrepeds, undead Gunthors.
Yeah.
Very
Plus,
cool.
Just really quick to backtrack, that first boss on Corson 5, where we've seen it in the demos where you go through other dimensions during the fight. Mm-hmm. Really cool. I like it.
Really cool.
But let's get to the big boy, Savali, which reminded me a lot. You might feel the same way. It reminded me of Madagascar in Uncharted 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say it reminds me of Madagascar and Uncharted 4, but also the later levels in Uncharted 2 when you're in Nepal. But that's more just an aesthetic. It's like the two had a baby. Because there's like the temples and the monks and...
Yeah.
And like the town kind of reminds me of a little town in Nepal. Either way though, it reminds me a lot of Uncharted.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I agree.
It's kind of just like this open world, like a miniature open world sandbox where there's a lot to explore, and it's a very large scale.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the archives, man.
Ooh, so cool.
It just roaming around in the background is such a treat.
Here's the thing. I know a lot of people didn't love this level.
Really?
A lot of people said, or I've heard a lot of people say, this game's a great linear adventure. There's some open world sections, but those aren't the highlight. And like them being open world isn't the highlight, obviously, for me.
Yeah.
But the area of Savali is easily one of my favorite areas.
Mm-hmm.
But it might just be because that's where you get the boots, and it totally changes the game, and the enemies are cool.
Plus,
but I also really like
Kit.
Kit's cool.
Kit's very awesome. I love Kit's design.
Mm-hmm.
I love that yellow. Give me that yellow.
Give me that yellow. She's very cute. She looks like she got little buttons on her head.
Yeah. It was like a little bumblebee outfit.
Yeah. It's adorable.
I thought her perspective or her addition into the story was really cool about how she took Rivet's arm.
Mm-hmm.
Not really knowing she was being controlled by Nefarious, and she's just like a security war drone.
Apparently.
I thought her addition to the story was really cool. And honestly, I was not expecting a Clank, like another Dimension Clank in this game.
Me either.
It was kind of a nice surprise, and no one ever like spoiled it for me.
No.
Even though I went like a week without playing the game.
Same.
So it was a very, very nice touch.
It's very cute. And it's kind of interesting because it is like an alternate version of Clank. Because he was supposed to be a warbot, right? And then he was a malfunction. Yeah. And so it's like, this is what would have happened if, we got halfway there. But really interesting. And I like, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Oh, there was one thing that I thought was funny, though. Is like, why aren't there more of her? She like is the single most powerful warbot in the world to kill everything. I feel like
she was supposed to be like a personal bodyguard.
Oh,
like so there's only one of her probably.
There we go.
Because obviously you can tell that Emperor Nefarious is afraid of her.
Yeah, he knows.
So if he had made any more, they would have just killed him.
You'd think. It was pretty funny.
But yeah, that's really surprising that people don't like this as much as the linear parts.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. Granted, I guess you could compare this to Blizar or whatever, or the Water Planet. I understand, but I do like Savali a lot. I like Savali. It's certainly much better than Sargasso. Yeah,
certainly. Like Sargasso reminds me of PS3 Ratchet and Clanks.
Yeah.
This is PS5 Ratchet and Clank. Okay. You got the boots. You got the exploration. You got just the little Easter eggs, like finding the pirate ship. Yeah. It was so cool.
And I think that the Lombaxes, like the Lorbs.
Oh, so cool.
I think that's what made it for me. Is like the journey of like following those and like learning about where the Lombaxes went. I think that really did enhance it for me. So
this is where we get into like, what are they doing here? Because in those, they're talking about seeing Sly Cooper, seeing Jack and Daxter, I think there was another one or two more.
There's Knack. Knack.
Oh yeah, Knack. Oh my gosh. Like, what are they alluding to here? Because it's not something you would usually do in a video game.
No. I mean, do you think it's just a nice, happy reference, or?
It could be a nod. It could be... Because, like, those are dormant franchises. Maybe not Knack. They even kind of, like...
It's kind of a dormant franchise. I think
they were like, I am on another planet. It's not as pretty looking as the other one. Like, they kind of poop on it a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of
compared to Jack and Sly. But man, I really hope they're like, because we got the Crash remakes, we got the Spyro remakes. Bring back Sly 1 through 3.
You don't even like Sly.
I don't, but I want people who do to play it.
I was like, I like Sly. I like Sly Cooper a lot, but
I love Jack and Daxter.
I've never played a Jack and Daxter game.
Dude, they're so good.
I was confused as to whether Jack and Daxter were Ratchet and Clank for a very long time.
I could see that. There's a lot of these mascot shooters or platformers that have like the buddy.
Exactly, like the little buddy on the back so they can talk to each other or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think those games would succeed
buddy.
today? Ratchet did.
For sure.
Well, I think it did. I wonder how well it sold.
But that's why they just need to do a remake to just test it. The game's done. Just make it look better.
It's true. I agree. I think I'm curious. I'd love to go back and play some of these mascot platformers. Do you think that there's going to be a response? I mean, Psychonauts 2 is coming out, but that was in development at the same time, so I'm not sure it's a response, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe we'll talk about more with fast ones.
Perhaps.
I might have a couple fast ones for you for that.
Hello.
But yeah, I love Savali. So good.
It's a great place.
Fantastic. And then make our way to Blizzard Mines on Blizzard Prime.
Blizzard Prime.
We are back with Rivet and Clank.
That's right.
And man, I love this. I love this planet.
I know you do.
Maybe not so much towards the end. I think it might get worse as it goes on because you get further away from the actual mining area.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love this. I love this map.
That was cute.
Talk to me.
I like it. I think the initial transitions using the Blizzard is pretty insane. But like I said, not my favorite version of it. I like it later when you're in the water planet with the Blizzard. I certainly prefer that level.
Really?
I love that level. That's my favorite level in the game.
What?
But it's because I really like the dialogue in it. For me, it really straddles the line between like, ooh, this would be cringy if it wasn't done perfectly and just being funny. And it also just like what was going on in the game at that point, like what I had gotten. Like for me, a lot of the levels, my enjoyment of them depended a lot on the gun I had, what I just unlocked, you know?
Okay.
I don't want to skip ahead, so I won't. But this part of the game I thought was good, but I didn't think they did enough with the Blizzard. Because I think of games like, I know everyone's going to compare it to this, but in Titanfall 2, when you have the glove, they just did a much better job with that idea in Titanfall 2. So I don't know. I get it's a kid's game, and they don't want to make it too hard, but
I think they did a really good job with it in Titanfall 2 when it comes to combat. And there's the thing that Ratchet and Clank didn't do was allow this to go from
like a free thing,
dimension to dimension to change up the combat. What they kind of did at the end of Blizzard Prime, but it was forced.
Yeah. It's I
agree.
Really cool. That's the only thing I would want, though. Like, it's just, I'd want it to be a little bit more free-flowing, you know?
Yeah.
But I totally understand. Like, I wanted more complicated platforming, you know?
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's a very fun level.
Yeah. I think there's just a lot of story, like world building and environmental storytelling in this level. And this is where I said that this was the most beautiful game I've played in my notes. Just that first time you hit the crystal and it changes. It's so beautiful. And I love the helping the chef out for the honey.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
What dessert? Very funny.
But you might be right, because I don't have too much to really say besides how pretty it was, and I liked the rail platforming with the dimensions and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
It did keep a trophy from me, though. I think I missed one.
Yeah. I was going to warn you about it.
I don't like that.
It is pretty lame.
So I've got to go back and do that.
But you can go back. I don't think you have to play the game all over again.
Yeah, there's a way to just go back to right before the final battle.
But But I guess we can just move on to Torn 4.
Torn 4.
Where we go and find the fixer.
I love Torn 4. I think for me, Torn 4 is probably my second favorite level. I don't really know why. Oh, I know why. It's because this is the moment that I became a necromancer instead of a shooter. So this game completely changes on this level if you decide to play it differently. I got I don't know what it's called when you first get it, but like the Doom Fist.
Oh, the Doom Hand or
the Doom Hand, yeah. Called. And it becomes like the Apocalypse Glove or something. And you throw out these little minions, and they just do a ton of damage. And I also fully upgraded my Mr. Fungi. And so literally, whenever I was in a fight, I just throw down like 5 of each, and it would be like you could take down a boss, like a Juggernaut, in like 5 seconds, man. It'd be like, because you can spawn like 25 at once at the end of just like the little minions. And so
that's crazy.
The game totally changed for me after that because it was just hilarious. Just putting down your little guys and not even shooting, just watching as everybody like crumbles and dies.
Yeah.
It felt like I was playing Diablo 2 or something. It was awesome.
Speaking of which, do you think that basically every level has the same boss?
That was my main problem with the game. There's not enough variety in bosses or enemies, I don't think.
You have Seekerpedes, Gunthors, then the robots,
the Juggernaut,
and then the last boss.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
I really wish we'd seen 2 or 3 more bosses because the Juggernauts just keep coming back. Like I wish
some more variety.
Yeah, like I wish that every time you killed the Juggernaut, it came back with like a new enhancement. Like, oh, I saw what you did there.
No, it would have been a good idea.
Dime.
Having another kit, like a red kit or something.
Cat.
Come and chase you down. That would have been really cool.
That would have been awesome. And it would have been horrible for Kit. So it would have been interesting, like character-wise. I agree. How did they miss that? That was really genius.
Cool. Thank you.
What can I say?
I work at Futon Talks. That's where I come up with all the good ideas.
Futon Industries, LLC. but yeah, man. I agree. That would have been awesome.
By the way, I cheesed that boss on Torn 4.
Oh,
I didn't mean to.
Oh.
I didn't mean to at all. I threw 2 shatter bombs at him and he fell off the ship.
Nice.
This happened twice for me in the game where I just killed the boss.
That's pretty funny.
Like 2 shots.
No,
it sucked. I wanted the bolts. I missed out on all those bolts.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get any of
you just
the bolts or
edge.
the experience I would have gotten with weapons.
So sad.
It was really sad.
It broke your heart. I had something weird happen to me on the Aqua planet. I don't know what it's called.
Kadaro Station on Cordelion.
Yes, on Cordelion. When you're in like the current timeline or whatever, the current dimension, you know how like Juice is in the container and they're draining him or whatever?
Yeah.
2 Juggernauts come to fight you, or 2 elite troopers or something. And one of mine fell under the water. So I just tried to shoot him, but it was really weird. He just kept like rockets just kept coming out of the water, like trying to kill me.
Oh, he didn't die?
No, he just chilled. I had to kill him. I just sent all my minions underwater to kill him. But
that's kind of cool.
That's kind of weird. Anyways, excuse me. But Terran 4.
You're fine. This was just another one of those beautiful maps, man. It feels lived in. Little marketplace, little bazaars. And it's just really cool. I love the characters in it. And the Fixer is awesome. He's such a good character.
He's awesome. Huge.
And like when you hear about the Fixer, you think it's like one of those rickety old robots or an alien, but he's the Iron Giant pretty much.
Yeah, and he's freaking huge.
He's huge.
I thought he was great.
Very cool.
And I love the aesthetic of the whole place and the vibe. And it reminded me of that one town in Final Fantasy VII Remake, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it did when you have to like climb the ladders a bunch with what's her name? Starts with an A.
With Aerith.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
The shanty town.
A little shanty town, a little ramshackle. And just, I really liked the one dude that had all the junk on his back.
Yeah, see him around a few times.
He's pretty funny. You come back from the fixer, he's like, did you tell the fixer about my amazing junk? This is like stupid. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite planets. I like Terran 4 a lot.
Yeah, me too. And then you get to fight the pirates and Pierre for like the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got for Torn 4.
That's great.
But let's get into Cordelion. Surprisingly, your favorite.
I love Cordelion.
Tell me about it.
I don't know what there isn't to like. I thought Juice was pretty cool and pretty scary. He spooked me a couple times.
Yeah.
It was nice to have a really different feel of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. Figuring out what they were doing to Juice. I liked the mystery of being like, what are they using it for? Like, oh, they got him here. And I liked Junkbot. I thought Junkbot was pretty funny. I like he's like, he goes up to, he's like, oh, Ratchet and Kit, can I call you Chet? And he's like, no and no. And he's like, all right, Ratch. He's like, calls him like different nicknames the entire time. I thought that was funny, and I liked that I didn't have to do something convoluted to get a spy bot there. That was nice. And I liked the implementation of the Blizzard more, because you do use it in an escape of sorts. Like, you can just run past your enemies if you're getting overwhelmed. Just go to the Blizzard. And I liked the idea of like shooting the goo pods to get Juice to stop following you. Didn't always work perfectly, but when it did, it was cool that it worked. It was interesting. I liked it a lot, and I love abandoned facilities. So I liked the change of pace, and I thought Junkbot was funny, and I liked that it was a little creepy, and I liked that a lot. So for those reasons, it was my favorite, most memorable. Plus, my minions came into their own there, and that's when they like got the highest level. Yeah, tore everything apart.
I wasn't so hot on this level. I think it was probably because I was being pretty methodical throughout, and there was a couple times where I got past a crystal and I couldn't go back to get something, so I had to go all the way back again, and it's a little convoluted at the top of the level. Yeah, like between the different platforms, and like which platform do I need to go to hit the crystal to get to the other platform, and it just,
I don't know if I did that.
It was a little a little wrench in my gears, kind of.
Oh, a little rivet in your bolts, as it were.
In my kits.
Yeah. Your kits.
And it wasn't so that's probably, it just left me with a sour taste. Overall, I do remember when I was playing it, I really liked it. I felt like I was speeding through it, though. There were times where, because it was right after the hover boots, so I'm just blasting by. Juice had no effect on me.
Yeah, he can't catch you if you just try. So I wish he was a little bit faster.
Yeah, or like sneaky, because it kind of reminded me of, I don't know, like Alien Isolation or something.
Yeah, it does.
In a way, like that. It was weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's all right.
I understand. I really like it. I think it's a great level.
I think it's really cool looking. I love the idea of it. But at least when I was playing it, it wasn't the best for me. I
understand. I understand, my friend. But I love that level.
But then we get to your I'm surprised that this wasn't your favorite, but Ardalis, the pirate base.
Oh. It was good.
Yeah.
I liked the pirate base.
You love pirates.
I do like pirates a lot. I thought my favorite part was the theme park. I thought that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. Yes, with Captain Quantum, yeah.
You sing the shanty with them. I thought that was really funny. Yeah. It was good. I liked this level. The only thing I didn't like is that it's one of those open levels, but it's got these invisible walls. So you can't go everywhere, or like insta-kills you all the time. I thought that was a little annoying, because I kept trying to get like Raritanium from a certain area, and it just like would not let me. Like, I just hit the wall in the middle of there, and I just die. It's like, oh, wonderful. So, but that's not the level's fault.
No,
it's like Sargasso in that it has insta kill water. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but it's a fun level though.
Had a lot of Easter eggs in it. Did you see the Pirates of the Caribbean Easter egg?
Yeah, the keys.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
My only problem with this level might be the aesthetic a little bit.
Interesting.
I could have liked a daytime version of it more. But I think that just clashes with the Kraken thing that's in it. So you can't have it being like super happy looking.
Yeah, with the too good.
And then I think it's really long in the tooth. I think this one goes on for way too long, especially at the end when you're defending Captain Quantum.
Yeah, and it's not super clear what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, when you had to grapple onto the ship, no idea.
I was baffled for like 10, 20 minutes. I was like, what do you want? Like, what do you want from me? I kept trying to like jump onto like the stream, like the tractor beam that it had onto the ship.
Me too.
I don't know what was happening.
So,
and the pirates are probably my least favorite enemy to fight.
Yeah, especially the shield ones.
They're annoying.
I missed the tip that they give you.
There's a tip?
It was like a split second. It's like, here's how you get rid of the shields.
How do you get rid of the shield?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I remember like Clank saying something about it, and I totally missed it because I was in combat.
I know Ratchet constantly complained about the shields. He's like,
yeah,
we need to get behind the shield. But I'm like, there's 40 of them. Like, yeah. If I zip around them, they get me.
No.
That's why you have your minions. They bite their ankles to death.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
They chew right through those shields. But yeah, it was a really charming map. I liked it. You know, yeah, it was fun.
Anything that has Pierre, man. And then the theme park. Hilarious. Yeah. I love the theme park.
Yeah, that was really good. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, because I'm sure that wasn't the case before Captain Quantum. No. I'm sure he just like made it up.
Yeah. Also, this is where you get the headhunter, the sniper rifle.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, I really liked using it, but it just worked with my play style of the minions, and
then you just go out and snipe from afar. I like that.
And there's some really cool upgrades for the sniper rifle too. So, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I really like Captain Quantum.
Yeah, he's cool. I like Captain Quantum.
Yeah. He
stupid bucket.
Yeah, the stupid bucket head.
We will never like, we're gonna kill you for defiling our captain's head.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh.
And was that also the place where? No. So now we go back to Sargasso and Savali. Mm-hmm. So we have a bad one and a good one.
Mm-hmm. And I will say Sargasso's better this time around, in my opinion.
I agree.
And Savali's a little worse this time around. It's still good. It's just like...
Yeah.
At least I thought so. Yeah. I did not love fighting the undead guys or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest.
There are so many of them, dude.
There's a lot.
Like,
it's great to level up weapons.
I know. I think they just respawn indefinitely.
And then the undead Gunthor was a thing.
It's an interesting moment. I liked fighting it, but it's like, we've already fought this in the Colosseum, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there was a weird, conspicuous amount of, like, reused enemies.
Yeah.
But Clank had a funny moment where he's like, holy! It just, like, blanks it out for, like, a couple seconds.
It out. Yeah. Right, like, you said it, partner. Something like that. No, I thought it was really funny. But before we get to the last planet, we've missed two components of the game. Glitch.
Oh, yeah.
And her minigames, and then Clank's minigames.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which I think you can skip both of them.
Really?
If you wanted to. You can hit start and skip puzzle.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I wouldn't have done it, but I wish I did doing Clank's.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like Clank's
really
thing when he's in the dimension. Like, it gets better, I think, and the puzzles are really cool. But it's one of those things that breaks up the game for me. And I've never been a huge fan of the Clank missions in games.
Interesting.
In like previous games, I feel like it just breaks up what I'm doing. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they don't want you to get burned out on Ratchet.
I could see that. It's interesting.
But Clank isn't that funny either.
He's not. I think they should have given him a couple more movement abilities, just so it wasn't so annoying to fall off.
You can use combat when you're playing as him, but he doesn't have anything to fight.
I know, just to break.
And
boxes.
he has the pixelizer.
What?
Yeah, he has the pixelizer.
What's that?
The gun?
He has a gun?
Yeah, he has a gun.
Well, how do you shoot it?
You just hit like left on your D-pad and he pulls it out. But it has no ammo.
What?
Maybe it's something that they like messed up on.
Maybe
but yeah, he has the... Did you use the pixelizer as Ratchet?
No, what's the pixelizer?
That might be a gun when you go into challenge mode.
Huh.
Because there's 2 guns you can buy in challenge mode that aren't in normal. But I got the pixelizer through pre-ordering the game.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Weird. I did not do that.
But he has it, and yeah, it's just like, why does he have it? With no ammo and no enemies.
I thought it was an okay puzzles. They challenged me once or twice, you know, where it's like, oh, I have to actually think about it. I appreciated them. I thought they were an interesting take on puzzles. I liked them.
I think they were definitely better than the previous Clank mini games, or whatever you would call them in previous games. But man, I love Glitch.
Glitch is fun.
Glitch is a lot of fun.
Interesting. Very different. You know, I think it's cool that she's so different to play as. It was pretty fun.
And she has like her own... I think they're both cool because they're their own thing. Like, they have their own story kind of going on.
Yeah.
Glitch is like trying to fight this evil virus that's going around. And
evil southern virus.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. And I like her combat. It almost reminded me of like Resogun or something.
It reminds me of Abroxia.
Of Abroxia, yeah. Like just like a bullet hell type of thing.
Yeah. It was very fun. It was very cute. And it's just enough, you know. And I personally think the same for Clank. But like if there was any more, it would have been too much. It was the perfect amount.
Yeah.
And I like Gary a lot. I thought Gary the Prophet was pretty funny. So
yeah,
I'm grateful for Gary.
Yeah, Gary being there made it a lot easier to play through.
But Clank's got old quicker, for sure.
Yes. I agree.
But yeah. Funny. Interesting. Cute little side things.
But, yeah. At this point in the story, also, Nefariouses are together. We have met Emperor Nefarious. And he is going to destroy all the dimensions. That's like his plan.
He wants to conquer all the dimensions.
He wants to conquer them all, yeah. Because he's like, what do I do now? He thinks he's gotten rid of Ratchet and Rivet. So now he has to go and conquer everything. But on Zordoom Prison, this was an interesting planet.
It was. It wasn't bad.
No.
I thought it was
like
the pirate place at first.
Again.
It was like the same. I will say, though, I think my favorite cutscene and my favorite line was when Emperor Nefarious is like, I accomplished everything. Why do I feel so empty? And then Dr. Nefarious is like, well, you see, you equated happiness with success, and now that you've achieved success, you're alone. And he's like, you idiot. He's like, he just gets like super real with Emperor Nefarious.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, you're right. I need to conquer every dimension. I'm not done. It's just funny.
No, I love it. The Nefariouses are so good.
They're great together.
They're like an odd couple together. We have like 3 odd couples in this game, and it's great. It's great. I feel like Zordoom Prison is the middle of the road for me in like,
it's fine.
Good, best to worst maps.
Yeah,
I think it was just what it needed to be.
It was fine.
Yeah, it had some pretty good platforming. Had some drama in the story because now Rivet knows that it was Kit
Murdered
who
her.
shot her arm off.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be easier for them to move on, but Rivet leaves Kit on the planet.
Straight up. I know.
And she doesn't come back till the very end.
I was surprised. I thought they would make
It was
up.
nice. No, it was refreshing. I like that, actually.
Me too. I think they did a good job with it. They handled it better than I thought they would. So good job, Insomniac. Good job.
Yeah.
That's all there is to say about Sword Doom.
I even wrote down nothing crazy noteworthy. It's just a fun map.
Well, I do really like the Emperor's assistant. I think she's really funny.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only time I died too, was after you go up into like the little area where you type on the computer and then all the enemies come in the glass behind you.
Yeah.
I think it's the only time I ever died in combat was in there. But it's a great moment. It's really funny. I don't remember her line, but Emperor's assistant is a funny character. I like them a lot.
She's good. I liked the breaking Ratchet out of prison, and like you have that big fight with all the previous enemies are now your allies, and they're all fighting Nefarious's robots. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's a cool moment. It's a cool moment. I agree.
Yeah. So that was nice, and yeah, it had a good story moment. I like the chasing. Use the hover boots to get out of the prison to chase Ratchet and Clank, or Ratchet and Kit. So yeah, I thought it was a good moment. But then we go back to Xerxes. Where you're able to do now the gold challenges and stuff and finish that off. But yeah, I guess we go back to Megapolis now. Because Xerxes is kind of just like a pit stop.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I think it's better this time around.
Oh yeah, Megalopolis? It's way better this time.
Yeah.
It's all destroyed. So.
Especially at this point. I had the Rhino.
Yes.
Because I got all the spy bots.
You're a big boy. I did not get Rhino.
You did not get Rhino?
No, I need 2 more bots. What does the Rhino do?
The Rhino is the...
It's a gun, right?
Yeah, it opens up portals to other PlayStation properties and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you act like I should know this?
Well, because I thought were you just talking about the Lombax stuff where they talk about the games?
Yeah.
Dude, you do this and it will like bring Jack into the game.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It will open portals and like first, before you upgrade it all the way, it'll just like drop ships or dinosaurs on the enemies, right?
Yeah.
But later on, you can upgrade all the way. You can shoot it into the sky, and it will drop a Thunderjaw from Horizon.
You're lying.
I'm not. Or it will drop the plane and Jeep from Uncharted 4. It will drop Sly Cooper into the game, Jack into the game. What else would it drop? It would drop the dagger from Uncharted 2.
Dang. I had no idea. Man. That's insane.
Right?
Wow. I was gonna get the platinum anyway, but dang, I'm definitely doing it now.
Yeah, I think it drops the Sabretooth from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Drops a freaking Thunderjaw. That's insane.
Yeah, you have to it's so big you have to shoot it into the sky to let it drop.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
It's awesome. It's so good, bro.
Wow. Well, I'm replaying it. I'll play it tonight.
No, good for you.
I'll get the platinum.
And I think it drops like a giant can and mascot from Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I think is cute and nice.
Very cute.
But yeah, the Rhino's awesome. It's so
Wow.
good. And it's free after you get all the spy bots. So definitely go get it.
I had no idea.
And it's perfect because now you have challenge mode.
Yeah.
You can just go get everything.
Exactly.
Or like get the spy bots and then maybe do it again. Or whatever. But yeah, we fight the Emperor Nefarious. I thought this was a really cool last boss. It was like, I thought he was using the Dimensionator in a really cool way.
I agree. I'm like using it to like punch you.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
I thought it was really cool.
It was very God of War. Like God of War
Yeah.
Not the new one, obviously, but the older ones.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of.
I agree.
Like when you're fighting the
And I
Colossus
liked-
of Rhodes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how this was another part in the game where you would be sucked into the dimensionscape or whatever you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
And you would appear like next to him, or like you would get into his heart kind of and
Yeah.
mess around in there, and Gary was helping you. I thought it was really cool. And yeah, like he would open up a portal to put his head through, and he would like show up near you, and you can see him doing it in the background, like super far away.
Yeah.
So it was really cool, and like that scale was very God of War, like God of War 1 and 2 and stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
It was great. It was fun. All your weapons are fully upgraded. You're just like,
Baby.
you're just killing it. It's so fun. It's a great last boss.
Yeah, I agree. And Kit comes to the rescue, and Kit and Rivet make up, and it all ends well. I think the Nefariouses die.
I know, like badly too. I will say I really wanted Dr. Nefarious to be the one that actually killed Emperor Nefarious. Like he kind of does.
I thought that would have been cool too.
I thought he was going to be like, let's like push him into the rift.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been pretty funny.
I thought they handled it pretty subtly with the Nefariouses getting on each other's nerves to the point where Dr. Nefarious wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
I also love that
yeah,
Dr. Nefarious straight up gets freaking smushed.
He gets smushed
like an ant.
of like a giant robot. That dude's dead.
Yeah. His legs went up like,
Yeah.
he's dead.
So, and it was cool for them to bring back the Kraken to take out Emperor Nefarious.
Mm-hmm. It's cute.
This is a very well executed finale for the game.
It was great.
And they
Also,
have that cheek. Oh, what?
Rivet straight up like smashes his brain open with her hammer.
Yeah.
Like his whole head's
He does
gone.
that a couple times.
I know, it's like, dang, this dude's dead. It's like if that was a human being, his skull's just cracked open, his brain is like, it's like, dang, man.
Yeah, she's
Anyways.
pretty vicious.
She does not care. She will murder you. But what were you saying?
I was going to say, they have that final moment where Ratchet wants to make a pit stop somewhere. So, like, they are kind of together now, you would feel like. Not, like, romantically, I mean, like, they are...
Yeah, they're
team
partners
now.
of some sort. Team, yeah.
Which I have a question for you later on about that. But that pit stop, that's them going to see the Lombaxes, right?
It's gotta be. I wanted to see
gotta
it
be.
personally, but it's
I would have
understandable.
liked that also.
I guess that's
but
what
we need more
next
games,
game is about.
so.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's it. That's all of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That's our summary of Ratchet.
Pretty much. Yeah, we went over like the big moments, the important stuff. We had a good conversation, but I kind of want to get into the weapons with you. You talked a lot about the minions, the Doom Hand.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting. I never used them.
I figured.
I mean, because I've used them before in previous games.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these weapons are from older titles.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very interesting. I'm glad that I'm glad we had different play styles. Because mine was completely different.
I wanted to try to play differently than I normally would. So I consciously I went out of my way.
You challenged yourself.
I am a true man. I went out of my way to use guns I didn't think I would normally want to use, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but tell me your top 4 weapons, like the 4 weapons you use the most.
So the thing is, how I played this game and how I usually play all the Ratchet and Clank games is I just start with the first weapon, get it to level 5, and I move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. Right? I kind of did that because I thought one of the trophies was to get every gun
to level 5. Whoops.
But wasn't the case. So near the tail end of the game, I started just using whatever I wanted. I love the topiary sprinkler.
Yeah.
I love that. I'll get into that.
I should have used it. I never did.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Mr. Fun Guy
I love Mr. Fun Guy.
is awesome. I really liked the Executor is really good, but I never used it after I got to max level. I never used it afterwards. The Drill Hound, I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used it once in the arena.
Yeah. I like the sniper a lot. There's a lot of really good weapons in this game because there's the electrocutor or whatever it's called, which I thought was really cool.
The lightning gun or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously the Rhino is just awesome.
If I'd had the Rhino, I'm sure that'd be like the main weapon I would have used. So
yeah. I love all the weapons like a certain degree, but there's just a few that I could have taken out of the game.
Yeah.
What about you?
My top 4, the ones I used the most.
The Ricochet. I'm forgetting about that one. That one's great.
The Warmonger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's called the Peacekeeper after you level up all the way.
Yeah.
I liked the rocket launcher. The Peacekeeper was pretty good. I liked the Headhunter, which becomes the Migraine. Ooh.
That's cool.
And then the Apocalypse Glove, and then the Mr. Fun Guy. Those are probably the 4 weapons I use the most. Because I never use weapons like that. After that, probably the Lightning Gun. I like the Lightning Gun a lot. But yeah.
Yeah.
I love those swings. You just put all your minions out, and then you just start sniping. And if you miss a shot, it doesn't take away from your ammo. So it's awesome.
That is nice.
It was awesome.
I loved... The Sprinkler is so fascinating. Because it's very much like the Groovatron in previous games. Which, do you know what that is?
No.
It's a disco ball grenade that makes the enemies dance.
Nice.
But the cool thing about it back then was like each enemy had a different dance.
Oh, that's cute.
Like, wow, that was really cool. That's a lot of cool detail that they put into the game. They didn't have to do that. They could have just made them all do the same dance. And it's the same with the Sprinkler because they would turn into these garden bushes like statues almost. And each one was different. And I thought that was so cool. And it's the same with the electric gun because they would all do a different like fidget or whatever.
Yeah.
Or electrocution animation. And those 2 are probably my favorite just in that way. Like those are really cool. That probably took a little bit more work than the rest of them. And the Ricochet, it seems like I don't know, just the way that the enemies react to being shot by multiple directions, it doesn't look animated. Like it's almost like a physical thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
I like that one too. The Ricochet or whatever. Or I think it changes to be the Ricochet because they all have a different changed name at the end.
Yeah, I think it's Ricochet.
Yeah.
Because it's a rocket.
They're very funny.
But there's a couple guns that I don't think needed to be there. Like the Blade Runner.
Yeah, it wasn't as cool as I wanted it to be.
It doesn't seem like it does any damage.
It doesn't do as much as it should. Because it's like shooting razor blades at your enemies. Which is like pretty morbid if you think about it. But
I remember it being really good in previous games.
The thing is, the lightning gun does the same thing but better.
Exactly.
It does damage
so why
over
would
time
I
and
use
stuns them. Yeah.
I agree.
I did like the minigun. I used the minigun quite a bit, actually.
Oh, the black hole minigun?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then, like, most of the grenades were pretty cool, like I forgot what it was called, but the main grenade, it was good, but I'd rather use the bombarder or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the minions, you know.
The original gun was kind of a letdown for me. It was just fine.
Yeah, it's just there, the blaster.
It's like everything else does what it does, essentially. Like the blade gun, as well as the lightning gun, as well as the minigun. They're all pretty similar.
Yeah.
Although you can pull the trigger halfway, and it shoots more accurately and does more damage.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Good job,
Um,
Blaster.
first gun I got max level. Like I got all the upgrades
Yeah, me too.
for the trophy. In hindsight, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I spread it around more and got the trophy later.
Mm.
Um,
I never
with
had
the
a lack for
cosmetics.
Raritanium.
Yeah, me neither.
I always had tons of Raritanium, like 60. So, but I was pretty neurotic. If there was one on the map, I went and got it immediately.
I didn't do that, and I had quite a bit. Like I always had like a steady like 30 to 60. You know. Before I get into another thing, like the cosmetics, did you mess with those at all?
I like never used them just because I like the way they look. I try to put a costume on and I'd be like, nah, I don't like that. I just take it off.
It took me a while to get used to using the armor and stuff. Because you did get buffs and stuff.
Well, I think you got the buffs for all the armor, no matter what, not mattering whether you wore it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I read that at the beginning it says in cumulative, like every single armor, you get the buffs for it. Mm-hmm. It's just like a passive. You don't have to wear it.
Oh, I wish I knew that because I would have just kept them standard the whole time,
yeah.
which I did for most of the game. And then, because like my biggest problem was like, what if I get into a cutscene and they're wearing a helmet?
Yeah.
But it does like this cool thing where like the helmet phases out.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
What was your favorite armor?
I used the one that you got from Savali.
Oh, the blue one?
Like the bounty hunter armor.
Oh, interesting.
I think I used that one. I really like that, or I would mix and match them. Like I would use the pirate torso with the bounty hunter mask, and one of the boots, like maybe the Lombax boots. And I would like combine them to make them yellow and black for Rivet, and then yellow or black and orange for Ratchet.
Nice.
So
I liked the Doom armor.
Yeah.
The Praetorian Guard armor. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's great.
Right.
Doom's in this too. That was the only one I ever used.
Yeah. But before we get into fast ones here, talk about that DualSense, man.
It's cool.
DualSense in this.
I will say it's not nearly as noticeable as it is in like Returnal.
No,
I don't think. But it's good. Like you can definitely tell the difference between guns, and when you're riding on a rail, you can feel it underneath your feet. It's cool. Yeah. It's cool.
I liked. They did some different things with it. They don't do the tapping like Astrobot, or at least not as pronounced as Astrobot's tapping when you're walking. But one of the odd ones was using the ice gun.
Really?
And if you would hit the ice, like the frozen enemies with a wrench, it would make like this pinging sound.
Yes, I noticed that.
It was very odd. Don't know if I liked it.
Was it a sound or was it a feeling? I couldn't tell.
It was, I think, the sound from the feeling.
Because like I was wearing
the controller.
I was wearing like whatever these are called.
Headphones?
I was wearing headphones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, did I hear that?
No,
I like couldn't tell.
It's very odd.
Pretty interesting.
It was like the only unique sound in this game.
It's the only thing I noticed the DualSense do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I did like the trigger pulls and stuff, did different things. Like, I think this is the first game where the left trigger has a second pull with the sniper. Because you can half pull it to zoom in and then pull it all the way to slow down time.
Yeah. I mean, Returnal did that a lot, obviously.
Did it do it with the left trigger, though?
Yeah. The left trigger determined whether it was an alt fire or not.
Oh, you're right. But I felt like I always pulled, like, it was very easy to go, like, in between them. This one, like, it stopped for me, and then I would pull it all the way. Mm-hmm.
It was interesting.
But the trigger pulls, like, for the Executor didn't matter at a certain point.
And is the thing. Because it becomes a quad barrel.
Yes.
And so it's hard to tell, right? Because if you pull it halfway, it shoots one of the barrels. But since it's a quad barrel, it's a double barrel. So you have two double barrels. You go pop, pop. It's kind of weird.
I agree. And then I just feel like the half pulls didn't matter. Like, I would just go for this full pull.
Usually the half pulls were pretty lame. Like, it'll show you where it's going to go. Like
yes.
If you aim it, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
So it was a subtle use of the DualSense. I thought it was cool. Not as crazy as Returnal. But
which I grew really accustomed to. Like,
yeah.
It's like, man, that was awesome. And you just don't even realize you're doing it. I really wish that had made a return.
I like
in
that.
This game. You know what I mean?
I want Metro Exodus, I think, just got the PS5 update with the DualSense. And it's supposed to be like, you can feel the difference between using a silencer or not. And I want to go see, like, I want to try that game out again and feel the PS5 difference.
Maybe we should do Metro Exodus soon. In preparation for Stalker 2.
Would you go into 2033 or Exodus?
I don't want to play 3 games. you know, I feel
we
bad.
could just go through Exodus. That's fine. Like, I can... Like,
it's a good jumping in point, right?
There's... The first 2 games have meaning. I mean, you're the same character.
Yeah.
Like, you're RTM still, and there is a few characters that are pretty important, but you can probably jump into Exodus, just read, like, or watch a video on the story.
Yeah.
Thus far. Because, the first one isn't just, like, a random game because it was based off a novel, so there's story implications throughout.
Yeah.
But I think you could probably just go into Exodus.
If we do it,
it is like the first Metro game that's like after the purchase from THQ Nordic, I think. So
it's the first non-AA feeling one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good way of putting it. But yeah, maybe one day we will.
Maybe.
Be fun. But I'm ready for fast ones if you are.
Oh, baby, give them to me. I'm ready.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, I don't have any, so.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have any notes.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I'm a bad person.
I only have a few, but some of them are interesting.
I'm excited.
Some of them are very easy, like I'm going to give you right now.
Okay.
I guess let's start with, we already did favorite planet and we did favorite weapons. But Ratchet or Rivet? I killed a man.
It's so hard.
It is really hard.
My instincts say Rivet, but my mind says Ratchet. So, Rivet.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rivet has a more interesting design, and I think she might have more potential than Ratchet, story-wise. Like, there's probably more storytelling in her universe than... I mean, obviously, we've had 11 games with Ratchet.
Yeah.
I think it's time for Rivet.
I like them both.
Clank or Kit or Glitch?
I like Clank.
Say it one more time.
I like Clank.
Okay.
I like Clank. Mostly because I really like Clank and Rivet together. So...
Yeah.
I like Clank a lot. I think he's an interesting guy. I found Kit to be annoying every once in a while.
I agree. Like when she's like, "I'm not a good partner." She says that like 30,000 times.
Yeah, I found Kit to be annoying every once in a while. I thought Glitch was cute, but I didn't see her as much. So I think Clank would be my answer.
I love Kit's design a lot more.
I find both of them disturbing. They're like weird jaws.
Yes.
I find them both to be kind of hideous. I don't like, they're cool designs, but like I wouldn't want that robot to exist. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh baby, that ray tracing on Clank though, so good looking.
Reflecting everything.
You know, I might have to go with Clank too, because Kit is really annoying at times, and Glitch isn't really there a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I like it when she is there.
Although my favorite robot is Dr. Nefarious. Hands down.
Yes.
He's hilarious.
What about Pierre?
Ooh, I do love Pierre. Pierre's more of a man than any man could ever hope to be. So he doesn't count as a robot.
I love how he's
Pierre.
just Napoleon, pretty much.
I know.
In Rivet's dimension.
Hey, Pierre. I know you will come back to me eventually, Rivet. It's like, he's so funny.
Do you like Ratchet's dimension of characters or Rivet's more?
I like Rivet's. Granted, I don't know Ratchet's dimension of characters. So, like, what can I say?
You got Quark, Skid, I think, and then the other robot that's not Pierre. Skeeter.
Yeah, I liked this dimension a lot.
Ricket.
I thought they were cool characters.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And Gary's there. And I love Gary.
Gary.
Okay, here we go. Which other PS franchise would you like a crossover between Ratchet and Clank? Because now they've opened up these dimensions.
Death Stranding. I'm just kidding.
That'd be wild.
That'd be horrendous. That'd be just horrifying.
Would Norman have to become a cartoon, or would Ratchet have to become like more normal looking?
I want them to be the same. Like freaking
Dude,
the Looney Tunes movie.
Dude, did you use the gold bolts for the cheats and whatnot?
A couple times, yeah.
Did you try normal head mode or small head mode?
No, is it horrifying?
Dude, it's a thing of nightmares because it looks proportionally normal. It looks like a human's head on top of their bodies, but they just have really big hands. It's like the Cats movie. It's just awful looking. Like, it's a thing of nightmares.
Dang. Who knew? That's
I
horrifying.
I took a screenshot of it. I'll have to use it. We'll have to use it for like the thumbnail because it's terrifying.
Scare everyone off before they even show up. That's horrifying. That's funny.
But go on. Sorry.
What was I saying?
We were talking about
what
the PS
crossover?
franchises. Yeah.
Probably Sly Cooper. I think it fits.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be fun to have some stealth elements, like to break up the action. Like, I think they'd fit together for like a time heist, maybe. Like
Yeah.
dimensional heist. That could
Such
be
a
pretty
good
cool,
answer.
right? Plus, I just miss Sly. I loved Sly Cooper when I was a kid. So
Yeah, I bet you did.
I had taste, and so I'd like it. I love thieves, you know.
Yeah.
Like they've always
Yeah,
been my
you do.
favorite. Like, you know, my favorite Disney movie was always Robin Hood with the faxes, like Tunic and
Treasure Planet?
Treasure Planet's another one, but it's also a heist. You know what I mean? So, like, to an extent, pirates are just thieves on the water. So,
Yeah.
I've always had like this thing for stealing. I don't know why. I've always thought they were just super cool. So,
It could be Ratchet and Clank, Thieves in Space.
thieves in time, Chris.
Well, that was Sly 4.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't play Sly
Or
4.
A Thief in Time or something like that.
Well, darn it, Chris, you ruined everything.
Sorry.
Lost time.
I like that answer. That's a great answer. I think it's the only one that works.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you have? Like Horizon Zero Dawn? Like,
I want Ratchet and Clank in The Last of Us.
it's horrifyingly the world. Oh, I
But yeah, I think you were... Sorry?
I was gonna keep being stupid. I agree with you.
Oh,
Or God of
I
War.
like that. God of War? There we go.
That'd be awful.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this already, but since they made modern renders of Sly Cooper and of Jack and Daxter, is this more of a possibility that we could see a remake?
I'd love that. I would honestly love the crossover game of Sly and
The renders look really good, by the way. Like, they look modern.
I need to get the Rhino, apparently.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, man. I think it'd be great. I'd love to see remasters for these games. I mean, they did Spyro, they did Crash. They're kind of doing Ratchet. It's not really a reboot, but they had the 2016 one. I would love that.
They did Medieval.
That's true.
Why not
as
Jack
well.
and Daxter and Sly Cooper?
Ghosts and Goblins is out. That's an Xbox thing, but you know what I mean. I would love that. I think that'd be great. A mascot shooter. It's just
I
a
like
mascot game.
Now, hear me out. I think
Here.
you agree with me.
We'll see.
So Insomniac Games is just a machine when it comes to making them. And so they're just this undying machine that can just make really good games faster than anybody.
Yes, that is true.
Like, their quality is so high and the quantity is there. Like, they've nearly made like let's say 3 really, really good games in the last 4 years.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
I agree.
So because they make so many good games so fast, and there have been talks of Resistance being remade or whatever, or just ported. They're working on Spider-Man 2 already, as we know. Supposedly going to be shown off soon, which is crazy.
I know.
And then there's also talks of like Sunset Overdrive 2 being a thing for PlayStation only. I would also like to play Sunset Overdrive 1. It's one of those games where it's like, wow, I kind of do want to play that.
Yeah, me too.
But does Ratchet and Clank get the Miles Morales treatment with a Rivet and Kit spin-off game?
I don't think so.
Do we see like a $30 Rivet and Kit game where it's like 6 to 8 hours?
I don't think so.
No?
I think they're gonna work on a sequel, and that's what we're gonna get. Another Rivet and Ratchet game.
Where we just go back and forth?
Yeah, that's what I hope. I want to know what happens to the Lombaxes. I want another adventure. I'd love a cross-dimensional
It's going to start
game
being
with
like, wow, that was such a great trip.
right?
Seeing the Lombaxes.
Never see the Lombaxes. I just would want to see the game that we talked about, this crossover event between the different Sony properties. Like a Kingdom Hearts of Sony.
At what point do you stop Ratchet and Clank?
Never, apparently. I think that they probably have one more good game in them.
And then they'll take another long hiatus for like another 10 years.
I think that'd be the way to go. I think we need another game, but dimensional, overlap. You see all Sony's properties. I think that'd be awesome.
Do you think it ends? Do you think it ends well enough in this game for them to take another hiatus for another 5-6 years?
Yeah, I don't think they need a sequel.
I agree.
I hope we get one just because I really like this game and I'd love a Sly Cooper, crossover, and they could literally Kingdom Hearts it. Ratchet and Clank is the Disney, all of other Sony properties. I think that'd be cool.
It is interesting because they do. It feels like they ended Nefarious.
Yeah, Nefarious is
I don't
done.
think he's coming back.
Granted, there are a million other dimensions.
But they fixed the Dimensionator, and it kind of ends on like a nice note where even if they don't find the other Lombaxes, Ratchet and Rivet have each other.
Yes, they have
so
themselves.
It is interesting. Yes, they have them themselves.
I think it's a good ending.
I think so too. Surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's a happy,
like you said,
good way to end.
We talked about Too Many Weapons. Which weapons will we take out? Kind of. Is this game better than Spider-Man?
No. I love
yes.
Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man easily has a much better story. But that's because I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man's stories. I think the story of the first Spider-Man with Doc Ock is one of the greatest superhero stories ever told. I think it's the best superhero movie is the Spider-Man game. And the swinging, that's just me though. I love Spider-Man. And I think that's one of the best games on PlayStation still. Even though it has a really annoying platinum run. I personally think it's a better game. But I totally understand why someone would disagree with that.
I think I might be either too far away from Spider-Man or I'm too hot off of beating Ratchet and Clank.
You're too close to the fur on Ratchet's face.
To greatness. I think this game just has really good pacing. And it's like the perfect amount of time. And Spider-Man 1, I think, is really long. But that could just be the platinum. I'm thinking back on my platinum run.
The platinum really spoils the experience. It's too long.
Yeah. But
I
at the
think
time, I thought it was perfect.
I think the game itself is 15, 16 hours for Spider-Man. It's pretty similar in length if you only do the story.
Yeah.
But I totally get it, though.
I feel Ratchet and Clank is just so good looking. You know? And I think you're right. I think Spider-Man probably is a better game. I think
an argument can be made.
For sure.
For you. I mean, I think Ratchet, I think it really comes down to personal preference, man. Like, which story you enjoy more, which combat you enjoy more. I enjoy the combat in this game a lot more than Spider-Man's combat.
No,
but for me,
I love the story with Ock and Doc Ock and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Durka. Is this better than Miles Morales?
Yeah. This thing, I don't like Miles Morales.
I love Miles Morales.
Miles Morales
Not the
is
game.
okay.
I meant the character.
Oh yeah, the character's great, but it's certainly the 2018 Spider-Man, in my opinion, is a much better game than Miles Morales Spider-Man.
In hindsight, I agree.
Like much better, you know. The combat's more fun than Miles, but
it'd be fun to play that game with the new facial actor and everything going on.
It's wrong. I'm excited for Spider-Man 2 to come out so we can play Spider-Man again. I love Spider-Man. I'm excited to play it again.
Yeah, me too. Now this is the last question. If Insomniac was to develop another Sony-owned IP that's not their own, which would it be? Now, I think I have a perfect answer because I've thought about this for years.
Yeah, you think about Insomniac when you go to sleep, dude. Right. Like, you think about Insomniac a lot. A Sony-owned IP. This is the thing. They have range. You know?
Exactly.
Like, it's not just cartoony games. So it doesn't... Well, I think they do a great job with Sly or something. I don't think that's the only thing they can do. I mean, Spider-Man's not cartoony at all.
They could make a Killzone game that's actually good.
That's true. They could, hopefully. I don't know. I've never seen them do a shooter or a first-person game.
They could even do a third-person Killzone game.
That'd be interesting. But what's your answer? I mean, I know you've talked a lot about Resistance.
Oh yeah, they made Resistance, which is a better shooter than Killzone.
I was gonna say Resistance is
so
better.
There you go. I want them to make Infamous.
Ooh, didn't they? Did they make Infamous?
No, that was a Sucker Punch.
Oh, you're right.
Who now does Ghost of Tsushima?
I don't know why I thought that. It's so similar to Spider-Man. Sorry.
Yeah, they made the perfect superhero game.
They did
with Spider-Man, pretty much. Like it's perfect as like a superhero game. That's like the best you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that holds Infamous back from being like really, really good is the movement and the powers and stuff.
I could see
like the powers are cool, but they are held back a ton. It's a PS3 game. They're PS3 games.
Do you think it was just the time?
No, because Second Son wasn't that great either.
That's true. I didn't like Second Son very much.
But yeah, it's they could make the best Infamous game with the movement systems and whatnot.
I think you're right. I think that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find all of the properties listed so I can cheat.
You're good. I just think they can just do a really good job with the scale of like the city in Spider-Man.
It's huge.
And just have electricity powers or something. That would be awesome. Even if they just remade Infamous 1, that would be awesome.
Ape Escape.
Shut up.
I love Ape Escape. It's cute.
I haven't played an Ape Escape before.
It's fun. It's
Don't
not
you just
amazing.
look for monkeys?
Yes, with your net. And you control the net with one of the sticks. It's kind of cool. Drive Club.
Are you just going to name off all the Sony
I'm just going to name the
IPs?
bad ones that we shouldn't remake.
Oh.
Because I'm trying to think, who would I want? They could do another Heavenly Sword since that went so badly the first time with Andy Serkis and stuff. Maybe they could make it good. It's an action game. You said Infamous. Yeah. Knack. Sorry. I want to see a Legend of Dragoon game, but that's a JRPG and not really there.
Yeah. Not really their forte.
I'm gonna find the perfect thing. You know what they could do is the Order 1886.
That would be really interesting and really cool.
Like a good version. I personally don't hate the Order 1886, but like more.
No, I really like that game.
I don't know. I could see them doing something like that. They make beautiful games, but probably not the right thing. Interesting though. You always forget about that game, that it exists.
Yeah.
Resistance is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Sly Cooper, I still think they do great at.
But I don't know if you want Insomniac to make Sly and Jack.
I don't think so.
Or even Infamous, because you want them to make new things.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I want them to make a new IP. I think they could really do a good job just coming up with something on their own. The new Naughty Dog, you know?
Yeah, like I think they have enough on their plate.
That's also true.
Because they could possibly be like developing 4 games right now.
Yeah, they could be doing the Resistance trilogy. They could be doing Spider-Man. They could be doing a new Ratchet and Clank.
Sunset Overdrive.
And Sunset Overdrive.
So.
And they could be doing their own thing. I think they're going to be busy for a long time.
Yeah.
Sony doesn't own them. Or do they?
Yeah, they do. They bought them for like only $500 million.
Huh.
Which is crazy.
What's the studio I'm thinking of that they don't own? Oh, Blue Point. I'm thinking about Blue Point.
Yeah. They got to buy Blue Point soon.
I sure hope they do, because I want my Dark Souls good remake.
Yeah.
I want that cruddy remaster.
Speaking of like buying studios and stuff, because they should buy Kojima. Have you been hearing about this Blue Box stuff?
No.
Insane.
What's happening? This is what we would talk about on our Futon Friday show, by the way.
You're right. A little sneak peek for you.
Hello.
But there's this game called Abandoned, and it got teased, and people were like, this looks just like Silent Hills or something. And they're like, we're really sorry. We didn't mean to do that. First off, the logo for Blue Box Studios is just an inverse of PlayStation Studios, like logo-wise.
Dang.
Like it's a square with Blue Box in it and then like a little text underneath. It's 1 for 1. They just inverted the colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we can't find anything about the people who are making this game. They're all like using generic avatars that you get from making like a Facebook profile, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing that like made people start digging was they said, we can't wait to show you what the game is titled. It starts with an S and then ends with an L. And then one of the crazy things is that like there's some stuff in the trailer where it's like PT or whatever and whatnot, but the lead creator of the game, I don't remember what his name is. It's Turkish, but it roughly translates to Hideo. From like Turkish to Japanese.
That's ridiculous.
It's just all these crazy things. And like they are doing only PS5, which is really weird for like an indie game, because you would think they would do like PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
And they're getting their own like event June 20th.
What? They are? It's like in 2 days. What day is it?
Yeah. But they're
weird.
like they're getting their own like special like showcase. And Sony is always like putting it out there, like promoting it.
No, they have, because I've seen the trailer for Abandoned several times.
Yeah.
That is so
very
weird.
odd. Very odd. And
this is
people are like,
I bet you these guys are just riding high off the fact that this is a little bit like Silent Hills, and this guy accidentally has a name similar to Hideo.
But it's like this would be the third time that Kojima has like found a studio that doesn't do anything and is just using their name to promote his new game. Like with PT, like the 7780 Studios or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was just like their title.
Yeah.
It's just very odd. And like he's like Hideo Kojima has posted like tweets where the word Silent and Hills has been in the same tweet.
The hills
And,
are
like,
very silent today.
It's just stuff like that. It's crazy.
Dang.
I'm a
Is that what
believer.
you were texting me about when you're like,
Yeah.
what is happening? I had no idea what you meant.
It was a link. Maybe it didn't show up.
No,
But
it's
just
interesting
crazy
though.
stuff.
I hope so.
If it's not real, it'd be crazy.
You'll be so
Like
upset.
at this point, it's too far at this point. Like it has to be real.
I hope so. I think they could just be ratting off the fact that people are finally interested in their weird indie game.
Maybe.
But I hope it's true.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It would be cool.
It would be.
But I guess that's it for Ratchet and Clank.
I know. It was awesome,
Rift
man.
Apart.
It was a very
This was a
fun
really good episode.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys
loved
think.
it too.
Tell us any questions you have. I think the next game we're doing is Mass Effect 2.
I think that
After
is the
this.
next game that we're doing, but it won't be done for a while.
That's
we have
true.
a few episodes, maybe a few double features from previous episodes that we've done. We might be doing Dunkirk later next week, and we have a couple guests lined up for everything.
What's the next game that's going to go up? Besides, after this one, because this is the 28th.
I mean, the next one would be Mass Effect 2, unless we do older episodes.
Okay. Well, send in your submissions.
Or Plague Tale Innocence.
That's true. It depends on which one we
Might
get
be
done
one.
first.
Yeah.
But either way.
Maybe Yakuza.
Yakuza Like a Dragon. But if you have questions about any of those games, if you have things you liked, if you have things you want us to do, if there's anything you thought was weird or any cool facts about them, let us know what you have to say about Mass Effect 2 and Plague Tale.
Yeah.
We'd love to answer questions at the end of the podcast. We'd love to hear from you guys. We think it'd be super fun to feature people on the podcast, so
Yeah.
let us know.
Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Share with your friends if you love them at all.
Ring that bell.
Ring the bell. And take a look at our older episodes. Please follow on like Podbean, Spotify, Pandora.
Yeah.
Obviously YouTube, where you're watching this now, hopefully.
Yeah. We would love for you guys to, be notified whenever an episode comes up so you don't get to it late. It'd be super fun.
Yeah.
But
I think
we
that's
love you
it.
guys.
Love you guys.
Love having the show. We'll talk to you later. Adios.
Bye-bye.